I'm at a point in my life, like, we all grew up in the streets, and we try to be better, but they labeled us felons.
And I seem to think that the reason why their groups are so close is because all of them have a certain type of STD. I think they all got the alphabet. Now, bear with me, guys, because I'm not even trying to cap. I looked at it like this. You know they're not using condoms, right? So if you're in a party not using condoms, it ain't like you could catch something twice, right? You know, so if you already got something, ain't like you can catch it again. So I believe, you know, one of my theories is that these people at these Diddy parties were so close because they all had STDs.
Meek Mill's situational awareness is just low, bro. Because my thing is this, like, the feds announced that they have a video of Diddy on camera assaulting a male. You see what I'm saying? So, like, if they making these type of announcements, bro, if they had anything on Meek Mill, bro, like, that's everywhere.
When people think of hip-hop, they often think of the glitz, the glamour, and the larger-than-life personalities that have shaped the culture for decades. But behind the flashing lights and the booming music, there is a darker story that has started to unfold. For years, Sean "Diddy" Combs was known as the king of parties. His famous white parties in the Hamptons and his late-night gatherings in Los Angeles and Miami were considered legendary. Celebrities, athletes, and powerful executives all wanted to be there. But what if those parties weren't just about music, money, and fun? What if the very spaces that were once seen as the heart of black excellence and Hollywood celebration were actually the breeding ground for something sinister? Today, we're going to explore shocking claims that have now connected Diddy's parties to something far darker than scandal. And the voice at the center of this story is none other than Meek Mill, a rapper who has survived controversy, prison time, career setbacks, and now finds himself in the middle of rumors and lawsuits tied to Diddy. In recent conversations, Meek has pushed back against the accusations, but at the same time, he has revealed disturbing details about what he saw, what he avoided, and why so many people are now saying we're all infected.
If you got someone, don't you love when I come around?
Hey, what's up, King Son? Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, Daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's another reason why I go to the car, because you can't be that guy at the gay party getting mad at the gay dudes hitting on you.
Right.
You at they function. So now you gonna be homophobic in here?
Right. What?
You the jerk right now. You the clown. You at they shit getting mad. They trying to see what's to you. Yo, dumbass.
Give me a take on the flack that Meek Mill has gotten throughout all this, you know.
Meek Mill's situational awareness is just low, bro. Like, that's all it is. But the man had his Amazon account hooked to his Twitter. He buying dildos and everything. It's showing on his Twitter, bro.
You can't do that.
Look that up. That's real. He's just crazy, bro. Like, that's all it is. Like, you know, I feel like Meek is an honorable dude. He just kind of, he just don't be up to speed a lot of times.
Is that audio real? What are you getting?
I don't know. That audio, I can't confirm that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because my thing is this, like, the feds announced that they have a video of Diddy on camera a male. You see what I'm saying? So, like, if they making these type of announcements, bro, if they had anything on Meek Mill, bro, like, that's everywhere. Because he just got out of jail and then got off of probation, got a judge fired and all type of things. Like, so it's people who want to see him look bad.
Right.
So if they had it, it'd be out.
Meek Mill, born Robert Rye Meek Williams, is not new to controversy. He grew up in North Philadelphia, raised in the streets where survival itself was an accomplishment. Dirt bikes, street battles, and raw ambition shaped his identity. That energy carried into his music, where he became known for his intense delivery and relentless passion. From mixtapes that shook the city to mainstream albums that topped charts, Meek built a career that symbolized the Philadelphia dream, a story of struggle, perseverance, and victory against the odds. But in 2025, Meek finds himself at a turning point. Now independent after years of dealing with record label politics, he's enjoying a creative rebirth. He's dropping new collaborations, headlining major festivals like Roots Picnic, and reconnecting with his city in powerful ways. Fans feel his hunger again. Black Thought from the Roots even described him as the voice of a generation of young Philadelphians, a man whose story mirrors the story of the city itself.
Because you missed Meek Mills. Well, he said a Philly rapper. You understand? And it was redacted in the paperwork to that because first of all, it had Meek Mills, it had Stevie J, they had redacted their names, and they had Usher, and they redacted their names and just said a performer of the Super Bowl and a Philly rapper. Everybody kind of knew back in the day that Meek Mills and Puff was a little too friendly. Anytime two rappers or two people in the industry come dressed up alike on more than one occasion, my man, listen here, man. My dudes in Philly, I got some real strong dudes in Philly. They don't play that shit. And they probably embarrassed for the fact to see that Meek Mills, one of the street guys that came out of there, got caught up in this Hollywood, whereas that he's dressing the same shit. He dressing like Diddy? Hugged up with Diddy? I think that Lil Rod know a lot, but I know this. Two men dress alike, it's just like two men laying down. When they both get up, they both homos. And that's real talk, bruh. My man, you go to a party, dog, and the same shirt you got on, I'm taking my shirt off. I'm walking around in a t-shirt. And then, not to blow Meek Mills up out the water or anything like that, it was said that they checked his Google search and all the other shit, and he was searching for some online gay and all that other shit.
Oh, wow.
That's easy, bro. But listen, those are what, you know, it's crazy that money, that lifestyle, and you trying to fit into something get you. These guys never set out to do all this. Meek Mills, when he got into the game, he didn't set out to be questioning about his manhood with Diddy. But he put himself in that position.
And yet, no matter how far Meek runs, the shadow of Diddy seems to follow him. Despite Meek's insistence that he stayed away from Diddy's infamous parties, lawsuits and rumors keep pulling his name into the conversation. Meek has said multiple times that he would never compromise his morals, that he never attended the so-called freak-offs, and that his association with Diddy was limited to music and business. But the internet doesn't care about nuance. In the age of viral headlines, Meek's name attached to Diddy is enough to spark endless memes, suspicions, and damaging narratives. The situation reflects a troubling reality. For many black entertainers, success often comes with guilt by association. Even if they avoid the chaos, just being in the orbit of powerful figures like Diddy can pull them into storms they never asked for. And Meek, who has fought so hard to protect his credibility, is now once again defending himself. This time, not from the police or labels, but from the toxic spread of rumors that link him to a world he says he never entered.
Yeah, that is weird, man. I never knew about that, man. You never told me about that, man. But to get back to this lawsuit, right, Lil Rod, he also alleges that, you know, Diddy, he will grope his genitals and he will grope his.
My man, I didn't understand that one right now because it's your hole. His genitals is his nut. So I guess he had to be when Puff was doing that. Where was he at? What was he doing? Because he said that they never had. Read it in the thing. They never had. He made claims that they never had. But how would he grope your hole? How would he play with your genitals?
Yeah, it don't make sense. I mean,
it don't make sense. How you wake up butt naked with 2 other men in the bed with Diddy and nothing happened? I think he was just trying to save face, man.
But do you think it's a possibility that he meant that, Diddy will grope his, butt, instead of anus? I mean, because I'm trying to figure out how does that work? Somebody groping your.
You're gonna say your butt. The lawyer would say, "What do you mean?" He would say, "My butt cheeks." There's a such thing called butt cheeks. Your 2 cheeks. He said, the asshole. How did he get that far? Lil Rod, you gotta say no to Diddy sometimes. No, that shit ain't funny, man. But you gotta say no.
So from you reading the lawsuit, right, you feel like he had relations with Diddy?
When me being a former investigator, I think Lil Rod was trying to save face on certain things, that he had somewhat of a relationship, or he was doing some things with Diddy that he didn't want to really come out in that fashion. Because there's no way that he gonna wake up and his hurting and his genitals is all over the place, and he's in the bed after being drunk or drugged and saying nothing happened. And you think that Diddy gonna be in the bed with 3 other men and nothing happened? It doesn't sound logical. If we're reading and believing what he said in those papers. If you woke up in bed and you was drunk or intoxicated on ecstasy, on whatever drugs that they put in there, roofied you or whatever, and you not feeling right, something is wrong. Wouldn't you say? Something is wrong. He didn't say, we woke up with all my clothes. He said, we woke up but the F in those papers. So if he in those papers, it is what it is.
In February 2024, a $30 million lawsuit filed by Rodney Lil Rod Jones against Diddy sent shockwaves through the music industry. The lawsuit was filled with shocking allegations about Diddy's lifestyle, from drugs to parties to coercion. Buried in those pages was a stray reference to Meek Mill. The documents described him as a Philadelphia rapper who dated Nicki Minaj, linking him to Diddy in a way that immediately set off headlines. What's important to understand is that Meek was not accused of any crime. His name was simply inserted almost casually into the lawsuit. Yet, in today's media environment, that was all it took. Suddenly, social media was buzzing with claims that Meek was deeply involved in Diddy's world. Memes popped up overnight, and blogs twisted the inclusion into sensational stories about Meek's alleged role at these parties. For Meek, this was devastating. He has openly said that the internet turned against him in a way that felt coordinated, with bots and fake accounts spreading narratives that were built on lies. He compared it to defamation, pointing out that false claims travel fast, while the truth is often ignored. In March 2024, when a judge dismissed many of the charges in the lawsuit and criticized the lawyers for exaggeration and misconduct, very few outlets gave it the same energy as the original headlines. Meek's name was still out there, tied to Diddy, tied to freak-offs, tied to infections.
What do you think about Meek Mill wanting to hire somebody to see, what they find on him and Diddy, or if he's in the investigation and, wants to put up like $100,000 on that?
Meek Mill had his Amazon account connected to his Twitter, The man on there buying dildos and it's getting posted to his Twitter account. I just purchased this 10-inch dildo. So like, I really don't want to talk about Meek Mill. You feel me? I just don't think Meek Mill is a bright guy, period. Like, I just feel like Meek Mill is the dude who will end up someplace trying to be with the who's who and be like, wait a second. I don't know what's going on. He one of them type of guys, bro. It was on his Twitter, he was buying dildos, man. So I don't know what he do. I just don't think he's that bright of a guy, bro. Like, honestly. You saw that before?
Saw what?
Meek Mill buying dildos.
I didn't see that. Let me Google it.
Boys, shit, man. And they tricked all the females into liking these zesty dudes. So it leaves guys like me in a weird position. Pause. See, hold on. I'm tired of this, man.
I mean, I see something, but I can't. Okay. Holy, is this real?
That's real, man. That's not.
Okay, this is 3 years ago.
Yes, bro, that's real, bro. That's what's going on, bro. So look.
I mean, I'm looking this on Reddit.
That's real, man. The man had his Twitter attached to his Amazon, man. I just purchased this. I remember being a kid. All the females was obsessed with B2K. What's the other group of what's some other? They obsessed with all of these little boy bands, right? Now look at them now. They all zesty. All dudes doing a little singing and dancing with the oil on their body. They tricked all of the females into liking them. So now they attracted to buy men. So if you a masculine dude, oh, now you toxic. Watch out, shorty. Oh no. These the facts, bro.
I also seen you post about Diddy's son.
The one with the lip gloss on and the waves, he's a cornball.
This is why Meek's recent comments matter. He knows how quickly rumors can become accepted truth. He knows that once your name is linked to someone like Diddy in the middle of one of the biggest scandals in hip-hop history, it's almost impossible to wash off. And so, while he denies being part of the dangerous side of Diddy's parties, he's also been brutally honest about what he has seen in the culture and why he believes so many entertainers are now compromised. When asked directly about the nature of Diddy's infamous parties, Meek Mill did not dodge the question. Instead, he clarified his position in a way that shocked many people. He explained that he did attend New Year's parties and events where Diddy was present, but he never once went to the legendary white parties or the rumored freak-offs. According to Meek, he always traveled with his crew from Philadelphia. He made sure he was never isolated or put in situations where his morals could be tested.
And like the Diddy, the parties, not got invited to those. He was in Cali going to a couple parties with Meek, right? And Meek told my inside man that he can't go to, you know, what two or three parties, yeah. So he got left like at the crib or Airbnb, hotel, mansion, wherever they was. Like he couldn't go.
Why?
Like, yo, you can go like Monday and Tuesday you can go to this party. But Wednesday and Thursday when we go to this other mansion party, you gotta stay back. That's just coming from my inside guy. Like this is truth. Like, you know what I mean? That party, like when they say Diddy party, yeah, a few people was around at that time and they couldn't go.
I've asked this question.
But then Meek went a step further. He questioned why nobody from the black community has spoken up to clarify what really went on at those events. He hinted that the silence was suspicious, suggesting that perhaps too many people have been compromised or simply do not want to expose the truth. And then came his most chilling statement. We're all infected. For Meek, this infection isn't just about diseases in the physical sense. It's about the infection of the culture itself. It's about how rumors, lies, and manipulation spread like viruses across the internet, destroying reputations. It's about how artists are pulled into webs of corruption, whether they participate or not. It's about how fame itself can be poisoned when powerful figures use their influence not to uplift, but to control and exploit. By framing it this way, Meek is not just distancing himself from Diddy, he's pointing to a much larger sickness in the industry, one that has been festering for years and is only now being exposed. For decades, Sean Diddy Combs was the undisputed king of hip-hop celebrations. His parties were not just events, they were cultural milestones. From Hamptons white parties, attended by A-list celebrities like Jay-Z, Beyonce, Paris Hilton, and Jennifer Lopez, to late-night gatherings in Los Angeles, filled with fireworks, champagne, and endless music. The image of Diddy's parties was one of luxury and power.
But when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Get punked out and pimped out by some greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being a man. So I believe that's a big problem with a lot of the actors out there because they get fluid. And next thing you know, once you go fluid, it's gone. You don't have any foundation to pull yourself back from. So maintain your man card, no matter what.
Man, I mean, you know, one of the things you're seeing, you went to a whole different place.
Sorry.
No, I get it. So you see some guys struggling with that. You see Bieber struggling with that. You see some of these guys struggling with that.
They can't get it out of their head. They can't get it out of their head. The things that they did, no matter how they did it, whether they were drunk or high or whatever, you gave up your man card. You need therapy. And that's the thing that hurts them the most. And so they end up on drugs, end up every way to try and get rid of any principles there are. And that's what the business does. And the women that trade their bodies to go and get the role, they get to the point where they have their Oscar, they have their money, but they don't have their dream. They don't have the soul that they started with. So it's like achieving don't mean anything. If I get all the Nobel Prizes from doing all of this, but in the process I have to trade out all of my integrity to do it so that they can stay in place, what benefit is that if I lose my integrity? You got to go in as a principal. And what we were brought in here as men. We produce 1,500 sperm per heartbeat for a reason, because the aggression is necessary. You don't trade that in, no matter what.
Did you ever have the opportunity where you got invited and you said no to it?
Hell yeah.
What was the consequences when you said no?
Puffy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music. And he's sitting there, just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to. That's what my assistant said. I was like, oh, okay. Now I get it. So now no more communication. Now you know to be hands-off with somebody. A number of producers come in and make the approach, and you threaten to punch them in the mouth, or threaten to knock their head off for talking to you or looking at you like you're a woman. When you approach a real man about his masculinity, you're going to get a real reaction back. It's a difference when a guy walks in a room and when a man walks into a room. And a man don't take the same things that a guy will accept. So always be the man in the room. And that's always been my whole thing, and have lost businesses because I don't bend over in that way. I don't compromise. I don't play gay roles. I don't kiss a man. I don't do that because the man card means everything.
But behind the glitz, stories began to circulate. Neighbors complained about women stumbling in the streets, confused and disoriented after nights inside Diddy's Beverly Hills mansion. Security guards described strange rules, heavy surveillance, and an environment that felt more like a private fortress than a home. Lawsuits have since claimed that drinks were spiked, that guests were groomed, and that many walked away, not with memories of fun, but with trauma. What makes these allegations even more haunting is how normalized the parties became. Celebrities openly bragged about attending. Publicists described them as life-changing experiences. Being invited was considered a mark of success, a stamp of approval from one of the most powerful figures in music. And yet, beneath the laughter and champagne glasses, there was an undercurrent of fear and silence. This duality, the glamorous image versus the dark reality, is what makes the revelations so disturbing. And when Meek says, "We're all infected," it reflects this very contradiction. Everyone wanted to be part of Diddy's world, but nobody wanted to admit what really went on once the cameras were gone.
Have you ever been to a Diddy freak off? If so, how was it?
All right, the freak off situation. Mind you, bro, if you are a celebrity and you party and having fun and y'all each other, if that's called a freak off, then so be it. But I don't think Diddy was orchestrating who and I didn't see that. You dare? I didn't see that. All I seen was people kissing each other, getting sucked, Nate. I seen all that. That's typical though. So I don't understand how freak offs can be a crime when everybody just gonna be each other anyway. A bunch of rich people snorting coke and each other and drunk. If that's a freak off, then I like to go back to it. I like to go back to a freak off. I like celebrity bitch. That's the fun thing about the freak offs. In my time when I was there, it was like celebrities was like all the movie stars and all the actresses was nothing. They was on that powder heavy, but they was hey, how you doing? What's down with you? Oh yeah. That's how it was. Shit was fun to me when I was young and I was there. It was fun to me. I was a kid in the candy store, looking at all these actresses that you grow up watching, you heard me, and these hoes suck doing powder and all types of wild foolishness. But if that's a crime, then sign me up.
At the heart of today's conversation is the word infection. Several lawsuits have suggested that Diddy's parties were not just morally corrupt, but physically dangerous. There are claims that diseases spread because of the environment of reckless behavior, lack of protection, and alleged coercion. Some accusers have said they were exposed against their will. Others have described situations where intoxication blurred consent, leaving them vulnerable to whatever followed. This is why Meek's choice of words hit so hard. When he said, "We're all infected," it wasn't just metaphorical. It was a brutal acknowledgement of how deep the damage goes. The infection is in the rumors, the reputations, the culture, but also possibly in the bodies of those who attended. The lawsuits describe scenarios where both men and women were violated, coerced, or manipulated, with long-term consequences that extend far beyond one night. And in the middle of this, Meek stands as both a witness and a target. He denies participating, but he cannot escape the fact that his name has been linked to a scene that now looks less like a party and more like a trap. The infection spreads even to those who resisted, because in the court of public opinion, everyone is guilty by association. The guest lists at Diddy's parties read like a who's who of Hollywood and hip-hop. Justin Bieber, Mariah Carey, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Kim Kardashian, Paris Hilton, Jennifer Lopez. The list goes on. For years, these parties were considered the place to be, the ultimate networking hub. But now, with lawsuits piling up, the silence from many of these celebrities is deafening.
That's called a party favor effect. That's just one of the little things that go on at the freak-off parties with children. Were there animals there?
Mm-hmm. Goats.
Did they turn the animals loose on the kids?
Yeah.
And if you got sick and threw up because it was so disgusting, what happened?
You had to eat it.
You had to eat your vomit if you threw up. That's satanic ritual abuse. Diddy was at this party? Denzel Washington was at this party?
Yep.
Birdman was at this party?
Yes, he was.
And Young Jock?
Yep.
And you're telling me Denzel was there and it was after 1 o'clock when he supposedly left?
And beanie, socks, and a gold chain.
So you're telling me Denzel Washington was butt naked, he had a beanie on, socks on, and a gold chain, and that's it. In front of children.
Yep.
Funny. Because he sure portrays himself to be holier than thou.
Yep. So a lot of them do.
I think you also told me that one of those men have a birthmark.
Left thigh.
One of those men have a birthmark on their left thigh.
Yep.
Did you have interactions with Diddy?
Yep.
Denzel? And I know we don't tell on Denzel. You might not tell on Denzel, but your mama gonna tell on everybody. I ain't keeping no secrets. Denzel?
Yep.
Birdman? Did Birdman promise you things?
So much. Like what he promised Lil Wayne at a young age. Because you know we shared the system together. Shared birthday together too.
I know a lot of you have seen P. Diddy get guardianship of a lot of young kids. That means he holds their contracts. I know you've heard me talk about Ali's contract and how often it gets auctioned off, and the things that come from that when it's auctioned. So when you're seeing that he was a guardian for these children, he's holding their MK Ultra contracts is what that translates to. Were you the only child at this party?
No. Not at all. There's so many kids at this party.
Were there also so many celebrities?
Yep. That whole they leave at a certain time, that's not true. Everybody has to take DNA test, saliva test, blood tests, give up your phone, give up information, any trackers or locations, no weapons, no cameras.
Meek Mill raised an important question. Why hasn't anyone spoken up to clarify what really went on? If these parties were innocent, why the silence? If they were dangerous, why no testimonies? The answer may lie in power. Diddy was not just a party host, he was a gatekeeper. Being in his good graces could mean new opportunities, new deals, new fame. Crossing him could mean exile, ridicule, or worse. That fear still lingers. Many celebrities who attended are now distancing themselves, pretending they were never part of it. But photographs, videos, and witness accounts suggest otherwise. They were there, they saw what happened, and yet most remain silent. In this silence, the infection grows. The culture of protection around powerful men allows to thrive. The lack of accountability makes everyone complicit. And for Meek, who has always prided himself on speaking truth to power, this silence is perhaps the most disturbing part of all. Despite the storm surrounding him, Meek Mill is not backing down. He's using his independence as a platform to reclaim his narrative. No longer tied to restrictive label contracts, Meek has the freedom to speak more openly, to defend himself without corporate filters, and to release music that reflects his truth. In interviews, he has been blunt about the rumors, calling them baseless, dangerous, and a reflection of the toxic culture of social media.
Hold on, Joe, before you circle back. Meek Mill, he unfollowed Diddy. What do you say about that?
What do I say about Meek Mill's unfollowing Daddy? I don't know. Seems strange.
That's what people in relationships do.
That's what people trying to avoid being indicted do.
I mean,
I don't know. You know? Stand by your man. Yeah. Stand by daddy.
so
Don't nobody else love you like he do.
Meek knows his credibility is everything. For a rapper whose career has been built on authenticity, the suggestion that he compromised himself at Diddy's parties is not just a personal attack, it's a direct threat to his entire legacy. That's why he's been so vocal, not only denying the allegations, but also pointing out the mechanics of how false narratives spread. He's spoken about bot accounts, coordinated smear campaigns, and the way media outlets amplify the scandal without ever correcting the record. This fight for independence is not just about music contracts, it's about identity. Meek wants to be free from the infection of Diddy's world, free from the rumors that try to chain him to scandals he never took part in. His message is clear. He will not let his name be destroyed by lies. He will continue to build his career, his movement, and his city on his own terms. As the lawsuits stack up and the trial approaches, the truth about Diddy's parties is beginning to take shape. What was once considered glamorous is now seen as sinister. The white parties that were hailed as iconic are now remembered as potential crime scenes. The music mogul who once symbolized black excellence is now facing accusations that could define him as one of the darkest figures in hip-hop history. Meek Mill's comments cut to the heart of this legacy. By saying, "We're all infected," he is acknowledging that the damage goes beyond individual lawsuits. The infection is cultural. It has spread through the industry, affecting reputations, careers, and lives. It has exposed the dangerous cost of silence, the risk of chasing fame at any price, and the way power can corrupt everything it touches. Diddy's fall from grace is not just about one man, it's about the system that enabled him. It's about the celebrities who stayed quiet, the lawyers who chased headlines, the fans who spread rumors, and the industry that allowed exploitation to thrive under the cover of music and money. That is the dark legacy of these parties, a legacy that Meek Mill and countless others are now forced to confront, whether they were part of it or not. The story of Meek Mill and Diddy's parties is not just another hip-hop scandal. It's a warning. It's a reminder that behind every glamorous photo, behind every celebrity moment, there may be secrets too dark to imagine. Meek has made it clear that he avoided the worst of it, that his morals kept him away from the freak-offs and the dangerous side of Diddy's empire. But the infection he talks about, the infection of rumors, lies, and corrupted culture, has touched him anyway. As Diddy prepares for trial and the industry braces for more revelations, we have to ask ourselves, how deep does this infection go? How many careers were built on silence? How many stars are carrying secrets they will never share? And most importantly, if Meek Mill is right and we're all infected, then what will it take to heal the culture before it's too late? Let us know what you think in the comments below. If you like this video, hit that subscribe button so that you never miss out on any new videos. And until then, fam, keep it real.